Hello friends, today we're going to look at just a couple winter wild edibles. And even among colder weather, you can still find things to nibble on or make medicine or tea out of. And I'll show you two real quick ones right now. First up, we have the lovely Goia Procumbens. And this very waxy leaf plant has these delicious red berries. And the other common name for this is wintergreen. And we actually distill wintergreen oil from these leaves and also the berries as well. So the berries themselves have a very strong wintergreen gum taste. And I like these usually when they're not quite as dried out in the winter. But people make jams and jellies. There's a book called Stalking the Wild Asparagus by Yule Gibbons, where he has a really good recipe for making a wintergreen berry jam. I never collect that many of them, so I end up just nibbling on them as I go through the forest. The leaves as well can be dried, be used for teas. The only contradiction is it has salicylic acid in it, so it's sort of a precursor to aspirin. So people use it for pain relief, just like willow. Willow bark as well has salicylic acid. So you just have to be mindful if you have any liver or kidney issues. But, every wild plant and every food in general poses some sort of risk. But this is Goia Procumbens, so you should check that out. Next up, we have one that people don't really think much about. But it's ubiquitous here. And that would be pine needles. And pine needle tea is a fantastic source of vitamin C in the winter. In fact, pine trees were what saved a lot of the early colonists in the US from dying of scurvy. This and sumac, staghorn, and smooth sumac as well, because they both have vitamin C. These can be dried out in a dehydrator or put in an oven. They will turn a little brownish yellow as if you dry them in the oven or just leave them out. However, they're still fine to make tea out of. The other route is to chop them up, put them in a freezer bag and put them in the freezer for maybe a couple hours. And that helps to break the cell walls, and you can use water to make a tea out of it. The only thing to be aware of, if you do that, you're going to reduce the vitamin C content because vitamin C is often destroyed by high heat. So you want sort of a low temperature tea if you're going to make something out of it. Even better than the white pines would be the eastern hemlock. And hemlock is associated with poison hemlock, which completely unrelated family of plants. Hemlock, which we'll probably be able to find somewhere around here, ubiquitous here. We have a lot of woolly adelgid, which is taking out a fair amount of these hemlocks that we have, but hemlocks have a much higher vitamin C content than eastern white pines do. Pinus strobilus is just as tasty and just as useful. Keep walking here, see if we can find any partridge berry. So the one look-alike to wintergreen, or Goia Procumbens, is partridge berry. And partridge berry grows in the same spaces that wintergreen grows, so you're likely to encounter it. Hope you're exploring and looking for winter snacks. Partridge berry is used for hormone regulation, particularly for women. A lot of people use it during pregnancy, and it's a traditional usage. With a lot of plants and herbal remedies had a use in the past because people had very incomplete diets. Complete in some ways compared to our horrible current modern diet, but incomplete in terms of scurvy was a thing, and scurvy is just a vitamin C deficiency. So there were other issues like that mineral springs, herbs, and things like that treated. So a lot of the herbal literature is filled with uses of plants that are a result of vitamin and mineral deficiency. So a lot of plants fix that. So you have to kind of sift through what is a vitamin or mineral deficiency versus what is actually a plant or a pharmacological shift in someone's body. Let's see what else we can find here. As you can see, there's still a fair amount of snow on the ground. oak trees as well. Acorns, particularly white oaks, which is the smooth leaf. I'll see if I can find one on the ground here. White oaks have less tannic acorns, so you can make, after leaching them, you can make a flour that actually sticks together, and it's super tasty. There's one tree in my family's yard that has completely non-tannic acorns, and it's always recommended to leach them. I've made a million things without leaching those acorns. You can tell right away if something's high in tannins because it kind of makes your mouth dry, in the same way that like a wild persimmon that wasn't ripe dries out your mouth. Same concept. And people use tannic plants to close wounds or close sort of weeping, mucilaginous injuries in your mouth, or if you're bleeding, helps to pull skin together. That's what makes your mouth feel dry if you have something that's very tannic. Still in our search for Partridge Berry here. Now, I often find that in areas like this, well, this is a good example actually. Down here, you can see there are these red berries. And you may think, oh, is that wintergreen now that you know about wintergreen? But this is not. This is Celastris, or bittersweet. And most of New England is covered in this. Bittersweet has 3-lobed, and usually has a husk on the berries. That's white. Or sorry, that's yellow, like this one here. See the yellow outer portion? These have cardiac glycosides, so there's a particular type of bittersweet that is used for heart health. However, the one that we have in New England is not for that function. So I do not recommend taking bittersweet. However, there's, I think, can't remember the name in Latin for it, but in India they're used a relative of Celastris for memory enhancements. So there are uses for other varieties, but not the variety that we have here. We'll walk up this way and see what we can find. You guys may or may not know this already, but all of these pine cones have these small seeds in them. Pine nuts are from much, much larger pines on the west coast. But these ones do have these really tiny, paper-thin seeds that are edible. And if you find them at the right time before they pop open and the birds get them, they're very tasty, but not a sufficient food source. Alright, let's see what we can find up here. I don't know if we're going to find any partridge berry, but I'll take you guys to the Overlook. Excuse the plane in the background. And see what we can see out there. I'm right near Fitchburg Airport, so a good close view of the planes there. Okay. You ready to see the sand dunes of Fitchburg? It's actually kind of neat. Oh, someone put a chair over here as well. Hope you guys enjoyed this little hike and wild edible plant walk. If you want to see more content like this, be sure to like and comment here and tell me that you found it useful or interesting. Until next time, guys, stay well and keep exploring.